the amount of information, and personality you pack into every passing line it's incredible. It's just a great, great book. Choosing to, who do you think informed you most about young Lorne?
Oh, let's see.
I mean,
well,
Rosie Schuster.
Rosie Schuster, Lorne's first wife, who he met when they were both kids. I mean, I think I describe it in the book. It was almost like one of those weird Tudor engagements, children who meet, and it was sort of destined that they would marry. She was very smart about Lorne and his family and his background, but also his old pal, Paul Pape, who was just this great Canadian lawyer who drove me all over Toronto and showed me all of the,
Oh, wow. Wow.
But yeah.
And just talk for a second about, so I've seen Lorne, since I worked there when I was 25.
You guys have a good relationship now, right?
I think it is. He yelled at me at your book party.
He did?
He did the
What did he say?
He did the thing he did in the book.
He said, I'm going to break your fucking
No, he
legs?
did not now. Not now. And I was like, I wasn't going to talk to you. He was going to talk to someone else. And he does it in this book to Pete Davidson. Not now.
Exactly, at the party.
Yeah.
I missed that.
He has a lot of go-to.
That's a move, yeah.
He has a lot of go-to moves. And in the story you tell about Buck Henry getting up in a party, this is when he's younger.
Yeah. Well,
he's like,
he has an internal jukebox. He has a lot of things that play. And, and that was one of the challenges in interviewing him, because he has so many things that I'd be sitting there and I knew I had about an hour. And oh my God, he's going to tell the one about the gate at the White House. Shit, I have to get him off of that so it doesn't eat up 15 minutes. But
right.
Anyway.
Yeah. Did you ever hear the Adam McKay joke about Lorne?
No.
With his walking with Henry on the beach?
Oh, I know that. It's in the book.
It's in the book.
But tell the people.
Walking with this kid who's like, it's an invented story that tells you.
It's part of the Lorne impersonation subset.
And it's like his son is 6 years old, and he goes, "Look, Daddy, the moon." And without looking up, Lorne goes, "No, I know."
But in the book, it's added. It's like, no, I know. We had the moon in the 70s. We didn't even get to the impersonations, but I guess should we go to the? We have to go to the question.
Why are you sick of my
no, I'd love to
psychodrama
people can talk to Lorne.
interview?
Well,
I have so much more.
I don't know what is the timing.
I know we're supposed to do this. Wait.
Oh no, I think we actually do have more time, Bob. I didn't even see that. Keep talking.
Is that okay? Are you okay?
Sure.
I am at the section. What's interesting, I was saying to my wife Naomi the other day, and she's been a part of SNL. As a manager, she's had clients on for 20 plus years. So she's been around the show all that time. And though those first shows, and I'm not sure what the first show is that I watched, it was probably, I do remember the first Steve Martin show.
Yeah.
Now that stuck in my head. But I'd been watching the show for maybe 2 or 3 weeks before then. When was Steve on?
Steve came on in the second season.
All right, so I probably watched some of the first season. I feel like I watched Elliot Gould.
That's the show I went to as a 16-year-old.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Maybe you saw me.
I've got to say, Lorne got lucky in that everything about those first 5 shows, that's a show, and Elliot Gould was 8, but you talk about how the show sort of found the structure that it currently has somewhere around show 4.
Yeah.
Which is like most anything then and now would be canceled by then.
Totally.
And it's a tribute to Lorne's ability to maintain an even keel, even if it's a front. The uncertainty of that time period, whatever was going on in the network, that they weren't sure who they were anyways. They were trying to figure it out. But the generation coming along that poked up and said, we like this, we're watching this. And I wonder, what a tricky couple of weeks there. You know, Lorne said, we won't know what the show is till episode 10.
Show 10, yeah.
I mean, how did he even have the stones to say 10? I mean, most people would go like, you're not getting 10 episodes. You get it figured out by 2 or forget it.
I think this goes back to what I was saying a little while ago about how he almost didn't do it. He almost said no. You know, they weren't really, he didn't think that this was a very big deal. You know, the fact that it was in late night, it was on at 11:30 at night. He described that time slot as like a vacant lot on the edge of town. None of the executives were going to be, no one was going to be paying attention to it. It was almost like a laboratory.
Yeah.
So, and the other thing that protected him is that the show was the pet project of the NBC president, Herb Schlosser, who had basically kind of even dictated, you know, he wanted it in New York, he wanted it live, he wanted rotating hosts, he wanted it in Studio 8H. So, and all of his executives, you know, they called it Schlosser's folly. I mean, they were just going along with it. They really didn't care. Nobody was really paying attention. And that's one way that the Jason Reitman movie didn't really get it right.
But they also sensed that it was working pretty quickly. Like by episode 5 or 6,
I think
they started to go like, no, this is something. And that's amazing for a couple reasons. It did get good ratings around.
Well, it did. I mean, the first couple shows were kind of almost a disaster. You know, the Times gave episode 2 a terrible review. It was almost all music. John O'Connor of the Times called it a music special. They thought it was a music show. Like, they didn't even know it was a comedy show. And so it didn't. Things weren't looking that good, but it did kind of find itself finally.
Pretty quickly. I mean, the thing about there's so much about Lorne's personality that comes clear in this story and that makes him sympathetic and likable in a way that isn't easy to have when you don't know his story. But his talent for his taste is what's made the show great. I can't think of anyone. It's obviously versions of SNL have been tried all over, Fridays, Mad TV, all kinds of, there's numerous others, I'm sure. And it's never even close to what happens at SNL. And even with the diverse talents of the cast and the musical acts that he books, there's a level of quality that of comedy and smarts that Lorne makes sure is happening that makes the show rise above. I mean, it's not going to be easy to replace him. And it's all a taste thing.
Yeah.
You know, I would say there's cast members that I think of, like Fred Armisen, who I think is one of the funniest people alive, who I think almost no other producer of SNL would go, that guy, and let's stick with him for years. You know, because he's so dry. And he's everything's so closely observed, and just,
you know, it's not big in the same way that Kristen Wiig, like when she acts, like it's so small, you know, but it's so great on television. And like right now, I know he's very high on Jane Wickline, who's a new young woman who, again, it's contained, and I think she's great, and I think she has a kind of a sweetness that almost makes you think of Gilda Radner, you know. So it is taste. But another thing that's special about the show that a lot of people don't know, and you would know because you were hired as a writer, is that he always conceived it as a writer's show. It was about
it's unbelievable.
The writing. The writers are exalted way way the cast.
He treated us great.
Except when he was abusing you.
I know, but yes,
I know.
He shouldn't have done that.
I know what you mean.
He shouldn't have done that.
No, but
I wish.
But it's all about, as he always said, I became a producer to protect my writing, which was always being fucked over by producers. So, but you must have recognized that you guys had a privileged space.
Oh yeah, we knew. I mean, I couldn't believe it. Like, he let you produce those pieces. Who the fuck was I? I was some kid I didn't know. I'd never done anything on TV. And he's like, you know, figure out the set and the costumes and what?
Yeah.
I mean, and also sort of checking with you. Is this okay if we change this? We're going to change this. We're going to, you know, we're going to edit this. I mean, he would obviously edit something if he needed it to be edited, but he wanted you to be participating in it. And the amount of power he gives writers is incredible.